I done seen a lot of places. Devil tried to break me down. I see them demons in their faces. Never sell my soul out bound. Never defile my declaration. Give me patience, Lord. Hard time. Going through depression since my dog died. Loaded Smith and Wesson up and drawdown. Going through some hard times. See my father struggle and my mom crying. Pray Yahweh pick me up when I fall down. I've been going through some hard times. What can I say? A lot of people don't know what's really going on, but I guess they'll never know it if you never show it. But I've been going through some hard times. Going through depression since my dog died. Loaded Smith and Wesson up and drawdown. Going through some hard times. See my father struggle and my mom crying. Pray Yahweh pick me up when I fall down. I've been going through some hard times. It's real life going on, man. I've been going through some hard times. I've been going, I done seen it all. I've been through fights, I've been through pain. When my mama made that call, I pray to Christ to keep me sane. I do anything to ball, I risk my life just for a chain. I learned to walk after I crawl, I paid the price, who else to blame? And all the oxys and the purse can't hide the fact. Just cause I'm black, I fit descriptions of they search. You snatch the purse or selling crack. A carbon copy of the earth came from the dirt under attack. Reading the verse, keeping them first, better or worse, keep it intact. Couldn't never trust my lady, felt like she was running wild. Too busy drinking with her friends and keeping secrets in a smile. She always thinking that I'm cheating, but she creeping cause she foul. She make up reasons why she leaving. Grass is greener, throw the towel. Cause I done fought too many trials, I done beat too many cases. Been rolling for a while, I done seen a lot of places. Devil tried to break me down, I see them demons in their faces. Never sell my soul out bound, never defile my declaration. Give me patience, Lord. Hard time, going through depression since my dog died. Loaded Smith and Wesson up and drawdown. Going through some hard times. See my father struggle and my mom crying. Pray Yahweh pick me up when I fall down. I've been going through some hard times. What can I say? A lot of people don't know what's really going on, but I guess they'll never know it if you never show it. But I've been going through some hard times. Going through depression since my dog died. Loaded Smith and Wesson up and drawdown. Going through some hard times. See my father struggle and my mom crying. Pray Yahweh pick me up when I fall down. I've been going through some hard times. It's real life going on, man. I've been going through some hard times. I've been going, I done seen it all. I've been through fights, I've been through pain. When my mama made that call, I pray to Christ to keep me sane. I do anything to ball, I risk my life just for a chain. I learned to walk after I crawl, I paid the price, who else to blame? And all the oxys in the purse can't hide the fact. Just cause I'm black, I fit descriptions of they search. You snatch the purse or selling crack. A carbon copy of the earth came from the dirt under attack. Reading the verse, keeping them first, better or worse, keep it intact. Couldn't never trust my lady, felt like she was running wild. Too busy drinking with her friends and keeping secrets in a smile. She always thinking that I'm cheating, but she creeping cause she foul. She make up reasons why she leaving. Grass is greener, throw the towel. Cause I done fought too many trials, I done beat too many cases. Been rolling for a while, I done seen a lot of places. Devil tried to break me down, I see them demons in their faces. Never sell my soul out bound, never defile my declaration. Give me patience, Lord. Hard time, going through depression since my dog died. Loaded Smith and Wesson up and drawdown. Going through some hard times. See my father struggle and my mom crying. Pray Yahweh pick me up when I fall down. I've been going through some hard times. What can I say? A lot of people don't know what's really going on. But I've been going through some hard times. Going through depression since my dog died. Loaded Smith and Wesson up and drawdown. Going through some hard times. See my father struggle and my mom crying. Pray Yahweh pick me up when I fall down. I've been going through some hard times. Real life going on, man. I've been going through some hard times. I've been going, I done seen it all. I've been through fights, I've been through pain. When my mama made that call, I pray to Christ to keep me sane. I do anything to ball, I risk my life just for a chain. I learned to walk after I crawl, I paid the price, who else to blame? And all the oxys in the purse can't hide the fact. Just cause I'm black, I fit descriptions of they search. You snatch the purse or selling crack. A carbon copy of the earth came from the dirt under attack. Reading the verse, keeping them first, better or worse, keep it intact. Couldn't never trust my lady, felt like she was running wild. Too busy drinking with her friends and keeping secrets in a smile. She always thinking that I'm cheating, but she creeping cause she foul. She make up reasons why she leaving. Grass is greener, throw the towel. Cause I done fought too many trials, I done beat too many cases. Been rolling for a while, I done seen a lot of places. Devil tried to break me down, I see them demons in their faces. Never sell my soul out bound, never defile my declaration. Give me patience, Lord. I've been going through some hard times, going through depression since my dog died. No respecting what's in the draw. Going through some hard times, see my father struggling and my mom cried. Pray y'all.
Good evening, you all. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And have I got a treat for y'all? And I know y'all probably say, she always say that, right? But that's because my guests, I don't know about nobody else, right? My guests be the bomb. Okay? My guests be the bomb.com. Excuse me, Cujo in the background act like he want to get his life. He want to get in the live, but that's okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Freedom Friday, where we gonna get our free on this evening. Hello, somebody. We are going to get our free on this evening. We getting ready to have some real dialogue. And when I say real, I mean some raw, uncut, healing, transformational dialogue. So if you know like I know, trust me, you want to tag 3 people to this live. I'm going to give you all a few seconds to go ahead and tag 3 people to this live. And as you're tagging, as you're coming in, please tell me where you're watching from. I want to be able to see your names so that I can acknowledge you, so that you know that I know, that you know that I know that I can see you. Hello. Come on in, y'all. We're going to get started in just a few more minutes. Y'all give me a second. Let me get Cujo together, because Cujo about to get the business on tonight. Hush! So Lenny, come get the dog for me, please.
Hey.
Don't tell me this entire time I was muted. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. So let's try that one more again. Let's run that back. Let's run that back one more again. I have to give a major shout out to Jacob Anderson and Eddie Jones and 95 South podcast for allowing me to do this podcast on a wider stream. All right, y'all. Thank y'all. If y'all watching, my brothers, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for sponsoring me and for supporting me. I really mean it from my heart. One housekeeping rule. This is what I was just saying that y'all didn't hear. Right. One housekeeping rule. Respect is mandatory, y'all. Hear me clearly. I will block you in the name of the Lord with love. Respect is mandatory. This is a safe space, y'all. We have got to have open minds and allow people to have whatever thought they might have, whatever opinion, ideology, whatever it might be. We have to allow people to be who they are, whether or not we agree with what they're saying. Okay, so I don't want no foolishness in the comments because like I said, I will block you and I'll see you tomorrow and still give you a hug. Hello? I will. I promise I will. I promise y'all. Y'all make sure like, comment, and share just in case you didn't get that part either. Like, comment, and share, and tag 3 people. Tag all the men. Tag some men in this space because this conversation is about to get super real. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you can keep getting videos every time we go live. All right, y'all? Don't forget, we'll always be here every Friday at 7:30 p.m. If you want to be interviewed, you can send your subscriptions to ditlintl@gmail.com. The email is ditlintl@gmail.com, or you can just simply send me an inbox. All right, y'all? All right. We're getting ready to look at these comments real quick. I want to acknowledge some folks. Hello there, everybody. Hi, Izzy. Hi, Apostle Brenda. Hi, Apostle Ingham. How you doing? Hey, Jacob. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Everybody can hear. Everybody is on. All right, y'all. So really quickly, I have got to introduce this brother right here to y'all. And when I say, first of all, Scar is the first man to be on my podcast. So you done baptized us tonight, bruh. You done baptized us tonight. And listen, this is my brother from another mother. And when I say that, I mean that in every sense of the word. I've known Scar for so many years. And this is not even part of the introduction. This is just from my heart. I've known Scar for so many years. We've been friends for a while. And he's seen a lot of my vulnerable moments. I've seen a lot of his vulnerable moments. And when I tell you, this brother right here can tell you a few things on how to overcome, how to push, how to press, how to navigate through darkness. Trust me what I'm telling you. You want to get some men in this space tonight. Because, no offense, my brother, but I don't think it could get no more alpha than it can't get no more alpha than counsel. He is what you call an absolute alpha male. But tonight he's gonna open up to us. He's gonna be vulnerable with us. He's gonna give us some truth, y'all. He's gonna give us some jewels that's gonna help us. Okay, men and women alike. But I feel like tonight this podcast is for the men. All right, y'all. So really quickly, let me go ahead and introduce this brother, Scar. Please correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Scar Tefilah Selahssie. That's right.
Yeah, well, Scar Tefilah Selahssie.
Scar Tefilah Selahssie. That's a mouthful. Jesus.
Oh yeah.
All right, y'all. Coming from generational curses of depression and oppression. Trials and tribulations have taught him practical ways to deal with life lessons, seeing the effects of racial discrimination and witchcraft. He learned the importance of faith and encouragement. He has been through it all. Y'all, I could be a witness. He has been through it all, and now has hope to share light to those who are blinded by darkness and burdens of their past. He is a former Universal recording artist, and he goes by Scar, again, Scar, I was saying it right. I promise you I'll forget it. Okay. Scar Tefilah, Selahssie, right?
Yeah, something
got
like
it?
that. Yeah,
Okay.
You got it.
As a matter of fact, y'all, the song that was playing as we were on standby is his song. And listen, this brother is dope, okay? When it comes to the music, y'all want to link with him. This man, he is hip hop for real. I don't know what's going on, you know. I'm not gonna say too much, but what he does is hip hop for real. Like, he's a lyricist, he's a musician. This brother is dope. So those of you that are looking for artists to link up with, to connect with, you need to link up with this brother right here. I am telling you, he is the CEO and founder of NSYS, Never Sell Your Soul Management, Real Religion Clothing, the culture, belief, and worship of what is real. He graduated from Rhema University with a bachelor's in counseling. Y'all heard that? But mind you, we just said prior to that he's been through it all. Okay, I'm going somewhere already. Okay, he studied business at the University of North Carolina. His YouTube channel is BTBTV, Better Than Before Television. You can find his music on YouTube at Yahweh Studios or Scar Live 305. His Instagram is at Scar Selahssie. And that is all. Y'all put some hearts in the chat for this man right now. I need to see some hearts. I need to see some hearts. I ain't even going no further. I need to see some hearts, because what y'all are about to experience is about to be life changing. I am telling you, what you're getting ready to experience is going to be life altering. And I know I might be joking and laughing and kikiing and all that good stuff, but listen, it's about to get really real. So like I said, y'all want to call all the men into this space right now. Tag 3 of them. Tag 5. Tag 10 of them. Okay? Share this podcast into all the groups you can think of, because it's about to get real, y'all. It is about to get... And see, the thing is, even though this podcast it can connect to all men, I'm targeting a specific audience tonight. But I'm not leaving anybody out. Anybody that's watching can connect and be impacted tonight. But I am targeting a specific audience. This audience is men that have come from the trenches. Men that have come from the gutter. Men that have been counted out, ostracized, considered the black sheep, probably been to prison, probably been in the trap all their life, probably been in the hood all their life. These are the men I'm targeting today. And I'm targeting you today because I want you to understand that in spite of what you are experiencing now or have experienced, there is still hope for you. Trust me what I'm telling you. I don't care what your past looked like. I don't care what your present looked like. Trust me when I say there is a hope for your future. I want some hearts to go up. I need some hearts to go up, y'all, so we can get started. We're going to get started real quick. Like, this is about to be so good. This is about to be so good. Okay, Scar, so here goes. I want to ask you, when you hear the phrase, gangsters cry in the dark,
Okay.
What comes to mind?
Gangsters cry in the dark. Well, for me, a lot of times tears are really just the effect of built-in pain and aggression.
Ooh, yes.
It kind of reminds me of a cup that's filled over with water. Eventually, it begins to spill out. So that's all tears are. You know, just things that's accumulated inside of you that's finally spilling out. So that's what I think about. You know, blood, sweat, and tears is all something that came from something.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. For me, when I hear the phrase gangsters cry in the dark, what it says to me is that you have men, and when I say gangster, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be an actual gangster. It could just be a man that has a strong suit, a man that is so alpha that he never shows any kind of weakness. He's always strong. He always got it together. When you see him, that brother always making it happen. When I hear gangsters cry in the dark, I hear when the lights go out and he gets home and he's by himself and he got to face himself. He got to deal with every weakness that comes to the surface. Sometimes we see men and we feel like because they carry themselves a certain way, that they're always okay. There's nothing wrong. Can I be the one to tell you that sometimes gangsters cry in the dark? That real men, real strong, tough men of character, men that come from the trenches, whatever spectrum you're coming from, gangsters cry in the dark. A lot of times men have been taught to suppress from childhood. Men have been taught, tough it up. You a boy. Don't be crying. Don't. Am I right?
Yes.
And because of that, they develop a strong suit of no matter what's going on, I'm going to hold it in and I'm going to keep it trucking. But there are times when a man gets in his private moments and he is bawling, crying. Y'all might not believe this, but I've seen it. The strongest man, the man that you think has it all together, be the main one that might even be suicidal. That's carrying the weight of the world in such a way that he about to lose his mind. But when you see him, everything all right. Everything all right. Everything put together. Everything's taken care of. You know, sometimes as women, we never consider the responsibility that men have to be a man. You want to divulge on that just a little bit?
Well, to be a man consists of so many things. Basically, to be a man, you really, to say that you're a man and to be valued as a man, it always lies on the way other people value you and see you. It's never consistent of how you view yourself. It's always based upon how someone sees you. As a man, you have to be validated by a woman, so a woman can tell you. This is how society teaches us. So a woman can tell you that's a good man.
Wow.
So she has to tell you you're a good man in order for you to believe that.
Wow.
Your friends got to tell you, hey man, you the real one, bro. Yeah, man, you the real one. You know what I'm saying? Before you start feeling any kind of validation or value about yourself. So as a man, it's like we're not even men unless someone else tells us that we are.
Wow.
So that's what makes it just so difficult to, like you say, just to get through the day, because people always have a judgmental approach when it comes to men. It's always a judgmental approach, always comparing. A man is always compared to something that, and the person that's necessarily compared to it might not even be of the same caliber as that man. But just because men are always compared to something, he will always be and fight for his manhood, per se.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 Okay, so can you tell me, because of what you just said, how does that impact a man internally? Like, how does that impact his well-being, like on a day-to-day?
Well, on a day-to-day basis, you constantly do things to find validation, whether it's
My
from
God.
people or whether it's from yourself. You constantly got to look a certain way. You constantly got to drive a certain car. You constantly working towards a standard or a staple that someone has set for you. You don't even have your own
Identity
or direction. You're basing your direction off of what someone else is telling you that you should be or the place that you should go. And this is the standard, That's why everything in man, like when you say man, you say maneuver, that's man. You say manipulation, that's man. It's like everything starts with man, but it seems like everything ends with something else.
Wow.
So now when you
That's
when
deep.
you date it back to the beginning of time when he created man, even though God created man, things didn't change until one man was created. Other than that, man was just, it started with him, but it didn't finish with him.
Right.
And a lot of times as men, we're created, we're born as males and we're men, but then throughout life just constantly takes a beating on us and essentially strips us of our manhood in so many words.
Wow. Wow. I didn't even
It's
realize
like
that.
it's like reverse. It's like when you got a woman is a girl and then she grows to be a woman. But with men, it's like we're born a male, but as we go along time, we're stripped of our manhood, where we decrease.
Wow.
Right, so it's reverse for us.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry. I'm kind of taken aback because I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah.
So it's like when we start school and the teacher tells you starting this class with an A. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of like the analogy that comes to my mind. Like when y'all start with an innate instinct to be men.
Right.
Period. Usually
Right.
that's what it is. And then as life goes, it strips you of your manhood.
Yes. Because we look at society today, the most popular man is feminized.
Mm-hmm.
The most successful quote unquote man is a feminine man.
Mm-hmm.
You look on TV, you look wherever you look, that's what you see.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it seems in life, in order for you to reach a certain level, you have to feminize yourself.
Okay. I understand.
And it's like throughout time, everything is situated to strip you of your manhood. If you can't pay your bills, if you can't get groceries, now mind you, if you can't do any of this, because the economy is bad for everybody, men and women.
Right.
But if a man can't do it, he's looked at like, but if a woman can't do it, it's a little different. So I think as men, we're born into this world to be men, but throughout time, man, our manhood is just depleting. Yeah.
My God. Okay, so how do you think that affects us as a unit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I really want to get the understanding because I feel like y'all are the first fruit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of why we are where we are today is because of the way that you all are impacted, if that makes sense.
Right.
So how do you say that? How could you say that impacts us as a unit working together, if that makes sense?
Well, if the person that's supposed to be leading, because they said the man's supposed to be the head of the household. If the person who's supposed to be leading you is being told how to lead you by you, then
Okay, when you say by you, you mean by us as women.
Not you. I'll say as a person, anybody, a person, whether it's a child, whether it's a woman, because remember, as a man, you're not a good father unless your child says so.
Wow.
As a man, you're not a good man unless your woman say you are.
Says so.
As a man, as a worker, you're not a good worker unless your boss say you are. When I played football, everything, music, everything I did, someone had to validate me and say, you are that before I became that. So now you got a society of men who are basically being told how to respond and act, but yet and still society blames the man for not leading, but he's being, every time he tries to lead, he's being told that what he's doing is wrong. So he has to lead the way someone else tells him to lead. So that's the case. It keeps us in constant conflict. We're constantly
with each other.
Right, with each other.
That makes sense.
Right.
That makes so much sense. Y'all, if y'all have any questions while we're in this discussion, y'all feel free to put them in the comments. I will link them up here so that we can kind of dive into them. If you have any questions or if you have any comments as well, I will link them up here so that they can be acknowledged. So then, what comes to your mind when you hear the phrase, gangsters need love too?
Well, for me, like I said, it goes back to what I said, like love and validation and value, because I tell people all the time, value and validation is the same word. They both start with VAL. So in order to be validated, you must be valued. In order to be valued, you have to be validated. So now when we speak on love, if I want women and men out there to ask yourself a question, you could love, a mother can get love from a child just because she gave birth to that child. She can not do anything for that child. But a father, even though he has something to do with that child being born, has to provide for that child in order to be seen as a good father. So as a man, when do you truly feel love? If you have to constantly work and prove yourself worthy or of value to be loved.
To be loved. Ooh.
Why isn't it good enough just to be a human to be loved? Why do you have to do these things to gain love constantly, repeatedly? So for me, when I think about gangsters needing love, I think a lot of times gangsters out here, and we was doing what we were doing and living how we was living, not even seeking love, but seeking validation.
My God.
Because we lacked value.
Woo! Wait.
Right.
I need you to run that back for the folks in the back.
Okay.
I need you to run that back. Say that again.
We were seeking validation because we lacked value. So now we're putting in work. We fighting, we shooting, we're thugging, we doing all these things, but it's really just trying to get some validation because we don't feel the value as a man. We don't feel like we the real one, quote unquote real in, or we don't feel like the ladies want us, so now we gotta throw the chains on. Now we gotta get the big car with the wheels. Now we gotta do all these things just to get validation, not even love, just to be accepted as a man. Yeah.
Now, okay, so what do you think causes or would cause? Because, okay, let me go back a little bit, because I know from personal experience, like when I was affiliated with a certain group of people, right. Say it like that, it was because I wanted to feel like accepted. Right. I wanted to feel like I was a part of something. I wanted to feel like somebody somewhere understood me. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to feel like somebody somewhere loved me. So is it safe to say, especially like in this generation, a lot of the trends that are taking place, or a lot of the reasons why young boys end up with gangs or in groups with people that are doing certain things, it's not because they want to do these things, but it's more so because they just want to be a part of something, or to feel like they're amongst some people that understand them or that love them.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think a lot of these, just talking to these young men and being around these young men, you know, like I said, we get scared too as a man. You get scared too. You suffer anxiety too. You suffer stress too. You know, it's stressful. Like all these people make it seem like when you see all these rappers and all these people, they going through what they going through and they in jail. Oh man, let somebody try me, throw me in population. I'ma do this. In reality, man, you take that man to the side. That man was scared.
Wow.
That man was scared. A lot of us are scared. When I was facing time, I was scared. Like you looking at 20 years, you're not thinking right. You can't sit up there and say to me that I'm gonna take this on the chin. I'm gonna. No, you're thinking about your family. You're thinking about your life, things you're trying to build, things you're trying. So at the end of the day, a lot of these young men are scared. But who do they tell that to?
Right.
How can they go tell somebody I'm scared? Because if they tell a woman they're scared, they're gonna be looking like a female dog. You're gonna look like a female, but not them words, but your words start with a B. They're gonna look like a female dog. And if they tell a partner they scared, man, you a PUSSY.
Right.
So who do they talk to and say, I'm scared, man. I don't really want to live like this, but if I don't live like this, who am I gonna be?
Wow. Who am I gonna be? Wow.
Right.
Wow. Okay, so real quick, right?
Yeah.
Could you give us, if it's okay with you, could you give us, because I want y'all to understand that you're talking to somebody that is not just talking, like off the top. Like, could you just real quick give us a backstory of what you've overcome?
Like I said, for me, I always was seeking validation, always seeking some understanding. You know, I grew up in a household that my mom and father did their best they could to provide for me and my sister. But you know, economy was hard. You know what I'm saying? And being a black family, you're not going to be in the best predicament, but they did the best they could.
Yeah.
So growing up, I always wanted more. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to do something. And when things didn't work for me, whether it was football, whether it was music, I signed a few record deals. I've been around. I did a lot of different things. I realized that the way that I was, path that I was going, I wasn't succeeding at it.
Okay.
So eventually you just say, you know, you just feel like, man, I got to do something. I can't be a nobody. I can't be a failure. So then, you know, next thing you know, I started dealing with the wrong crowd. I started dealing with the pushers, the hustlers, the thugs, the con men, the manipulators. Ended up getting myself caught up in a situation, a federal situation.
Right.
And I was on probation for a good 3-4 years. And during this time, my mom was sick. She was about to pass away, and my nephews and nieces, they had a lot going on. Their father wasn't there for them. So for me, it's like, man, my whole family is gonna be gone. I'm gonna be inside this cage, and I'm losing my whole family.
Wow.
So that hit me hard. I mean, to the point when I was in the courtroom, I remember videotaping my mother. She was like 130 pounds, something like 120, something like that.
Wow.
And I remember videotaping her asking the court to let me be released. But the day in court, they couldn't play the tape, and I just started shedding tears. Because I'm telling the judge, man, listen, you gonna give me the time you gonna give me. But in reality, man, I need to be out here for my family.
Especially because your mom.
Yeah, my mom going through, my nephews, my nieces, my dad sitting in the courthouse. I'm looking at my dad like, dang, man, this man gonna have to visit me. He's behind bars. So Man, that's just a briefing of basically what I've been through, man. I've been through everything. Like when I tell people witchcraft on me, I've been through a lot of different things, but everything I've seen in life led me to understand that the most important thing that you can have is your mind.
Mighty
Because
God.
once you lose that, you lose everything. So a lot of people so caught up on this car gonna get repossessed, this house, they gonna get kicked out of it, evicted. Once you lose your mind, everything is gone. You can
The
lose a
body
house and
will
get another one.
follow.
Yeah. You can lose a house. As a matter of fact, you can lose your mind and still have everything, but it still will be like you have nothing.
Yes.
So when I realized that, I mean, like I said, I've been through it with relationships, with women I dealt with. I was a womanizer myself, sleeping around with, and I sit back and think about it, like I was sleeping around with any and every woman I met and found because of the fact I did not have self-value.
Come on.
So I needed to hear her moans. I needed to hear her screams
To validate you.
to
It's
validate
almost
me.
like to feed the ego, right?
Correct. I needed to hear the fact that, hey man, don't try Star,
Wow.
don't try Count, man, cause he gonna do this, he gonna do that. I needed to feel that, but then I understood that along with me doing these things, I was losing who I was. I was losing my mind.
My God.
And next thing you know, man, you so far, you so deep in. I think it
And it's
took
hard
God.
to get out.
I think it's too. You so deep in, man, like in too deep. Like it's hard to get up out of there. So that's why you got a lot of brothers and sisters who have opportunities to do better, but they just can't because they in too deep. They don't know the love of God. They don't know the love of Yahweh, because again, to some people, God is a figment of imagination.
Yes.
You know, God is somebody who speaks to you in whispers. God don't post, God don't like, God don't share,
Come on.
God doesn't have a YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying? God doesn't have a podcast. So in order to feel like you're accepted, you tend to lean towards people who do like, share, post, have
Wow.
podcasts. Because as long as you're being looked at, viewed and shared and liked, you feel validated.
Wow.
And this is why people choose to basically obey people, because in order for someone to share you, like you, and promote you, you gotta be basically doing what they feel like you should do.
Like a puppet.
Right. You gotta say the things that they want you to say, that they're not gonna like it. You ain't saying what they want you to say.
Sidebar. Disclaimer. I don't care who don't like it. I don't care who don't share it. I don't care. I'm gonna do what God tell me to do. I just thought I'd let y'all know that.
Right.
And I'm gonna use my other disclaimer. I am not your ordinary apostle. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
If you try to put me in a box, you will be disappointed. I just thought I'd let y'all know that. Proceed.
but you know, that's why I deal. That's why I like you, man, because you're real. Like you tell it how it is, and whether the likes, whatever. Because in due time, everybody who need to hear it, go hear it.
Yes.
And what is it good to get 1 million likes? So a lot of times people feel like people who do that are the people that's on top or people that's in charge. But in reality, the people who liking your stuff is in charge of you, because you're gonna make sure everything you do follows that last post that everybody likes.
Right.
So now you're not really in control of yourself. And so many people are selling their souls and have lost their mind. And when I say lost your mind, not the fact that you're going crazy, walking up and down the street talking to yourself, but you have lost your mind because other people think for you, because everything you do is based on what someone else wants you to do.
Come on, Scar.
So you have lost your mind.
Come on, Scar.
Right.
Jesus. Somebody just posted self-love comes from within, which is God's love. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And you know, sometimes like people, they don't understand why I maneuver the way I do. Like, You know, sometimes I attribute some of my stuff the way the woke people do. Because really and truly, they're saying the same things that we saying. They're just using different terminology. See, like, I think completely outside the box. God is in everything. The Bible says good and evil come from me. That means God is in everything. You hear what I'm saying? But that's another conversation for another day. This person says self-love comes from within. It's God's love. But how? How could you? Because people will ask that, how you going to say self-love is God's love? Isn't self-love promoting self? The Bible says that God dwells on the inside of us. Even when he says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. It tells you that the kingdom of God is not here. It's not there. It's not in a building. It's not nowhere that you can attribute or make. The kingdom of God is on the inside of you. And if his kingdom is in you, then he has to be in you. Because his kingdom is the area that he rules. So when you love in yourself, you literally, listen, especially for those of us who didn't know how to love ourselves properly. When you learn to love yourself properly, you are literally pulling on the love that God has given you. I know what I'm talking about. So whoever said that, because it's only showing me Facebook user, self-love comes from within, and that's God's love. Yes, man. That's why even when Jesus came and gave the final commandment, which was to love your neighbor the way that I love you, that's self-love. And some of us don't even know how to love ourselves, so he gave us an example. How does God love you? I say this all the time. If he's telling me to love my neighbor the way he loves me, how does he love me? That's self-love. Being patient, being long-suffering, being kind, being gentle, having self-control, like not doing anything to hurt somebody else intentionally. Because at the end of the day, we're human and we're gonna make a mistake. Whether it's knowing or unknowingly, somehow, somewhere, we're gonna hurt somebody. But what is the posture of your heart? How does God love you? And take that same love. Think about it. I can tell you the way God loves me. Listen, you know, like I know, before the transition, and even in the transition, Q was a hot mess. I mean, a hot one. A hot one. I mean, just like my brother, I have gone through it all. And what saved me is the way that I look. I done got away with so much stuff because of the way that I look. But regardless, and I'm not justifying anything that I've done, but regardless of how I may have fallen short, my heart was always towards God. Always. And in spite of how I may have fallen short, he never gave up on me. He always loved me. His love never wavered. Who am I talking to? Somebody needs to hear this. His love never wavered. And a lot of the ways that I was acting was out of ignorance. I ain't know no better. I only did what I knew until I got some new information, and then became responsible for that information and applied it. And then the transformation took place. I know that was a mouthful. Y'all catch that tomorrow. Y'all will catch that tomorrow. But I'm saying all that to self-love literally is God loving you, using you as the vehicle, teaching you how to love you so that you can extend that same love to somebody else. Do you want to expound on that real quickly?
Well, to me, self-love, it's easy for us to say it, but self-love is one of the hardest things to do.
Yes.
because only that person truly knows how they feel, what they've been through, how it affected them. So now the question is, can you have self-love without God? Can you have God without self-love? And the reason why I kind of have a different perspective of self-love and God love is the same, because I know a lot of people that love God, but don't love themselves.
Don't love themselves. Wow.
So
Wow.
I have a different perspective on it, because
That's deep now.
self-love is one of the hardest things to do. And we could sit up here and say, I love myself, I'm living my best life. But in reality, do you?
Do
Do
you?
we? Do we know what we're doing to ourselves every day? Do we understand that we're hurting ourselves every day by our thoughts, by overworking, by eating and drinking and smoking too much, by cursing and getting your blood pressure up? How can you say you love yourself when in reality you do more abuse? We do more abuse to ourselves than we do other people. You know what's funny? If I beat on somebody, they'll throw me in jail for assault. If I beat on myself, I get no penalty.
Wow.
So it goes to show me that there is no standard set on self-abuse. Self-abuse has become almost normal.
You just said self-abuse?
Self-abuse.
I need somebody to put that in the chat real quick. Please, somebody put that in the chat real quick. Somebody put in the chat real quick, self-abuse. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to do it.
Self-abuse.
Self-abuse. What?
Self-abuse.
My
and
God.
Again, we speak so much on abuse, women being abused, men being abused, but a lot of times the reason why they're being abused by somebody else because they've chosen to abuse themselves.
Wow.
And this is why self-love is one of the hardest things to do. It's easy to say, but when you really think about it, it's one of the hardest things to do. Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's kind of like, for me, like I've been sick the past couple of days. That's why everybody see me drinking. I've been sick, trying to get right. But I've learned, like, the more I push myself, do I consider that self-love or self-ambition or self-abuse? Because if I'm pushing myself when my body is telling me stop, am I abusing myself? So it's kind of like, it's a thin line. It's a thin line.
Yeah, it is a thin line. And this person right here, I don't know why it's not showing. I wish I could see who some of you all are so I can acknowledge you properly. Because it says, the Facebook user says, because then you have to look in the mirror. And that is a hard process. Now we get into the meat of this conversation. Because I say it all the time. In order for any process to take place, self-love, self-healing, anything, the first step is self. That's the first step, y'all. Meaning, you have got to come to the place where you can look yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself about yourself. And that's hard. That's hard. You know why? Because a lot of us operate in ego. And when I say ego, I don't mean it in a derogatory way or in a negative way. I mean it, we operate in our mind, in our flesh, in outside of our higher selves. We operate in ego. And because we operate in ego, we don't never want to feel like we wrong about nothing. Why? We already feel small up here. We already feel small in here. And we are 9 times out of 10, subconsciously, we already beating ourselves up about something. It's automatic. So we don't really want to have to face ourselves and be real and say, you know what? Hey, that's an issue right there. That's a problem. Because it hurts. If we could be honest, it's a painful experience to actually be honest about something that you're weak in. It's painful because you already feel this big. I don't care how big and bad you portray yourself. Listen, like you said earlier, the one thing I valued was the fact that somebody would say, don't play with her. She is nuts. This girl gonna pick up something and bash your head in. Because I felt this big for real, in real life. I felt this big for real in real life. So, them acknowledging me with I would call respect, but it was really fear. Them handling me a certain kind of way, it inflated my ego. But somebody somebody put self-pride. But anybody with an inflated ego, if I could be totally honest with you, beneath that inflated ego is extreme insecurity.
Oh yeah.
I mean extreme. I'm talking about the more egotistical a person is, that's really how insecure they are underneath the surface of their ego. For real, for real. So, learning how to love yourself or beginning the journey of healing, listen, you got to come face to face with thank you, Holy Ghost. You got to come face to face with the thing that's sustaining you. Your ego. You got to come face to face with the thing that put that S on your chest and make you feel like you can conquer anything. And be real with yourself about yourself. And be honest with the fact that there are some parts of me that might need some adjusting. I have a question. Where has it gotten you so far? Like really, be honest with yourself. And I'm talking to somebody. The way you are right now, you not listening to anybody about what they have to say. You have all the answers. You're always right. You're never wrong. You never do anything wrong. If everybody's saying the wall is black, maybe, just maybe, the wall is black. You can chime in, bruh.
Well, I'm just kicking back, listening to what you're saying, and that's a good question. People out here, people need to know, where has it gotten you? Like I say, what's the use of being right if you living wrong?
Ooh.
You right all the time, but look at your lifestyle. Look at the way you living. You're not living in the full potential God has for you. You're not living in your full potential.
Right.
But just to prove, just to make a point that you're right, you're willing to miss out on every blessing God has for you, just to prove you're right. Where has your ego gotten you? Where has that attitude that you snap mode and you snapping and going crazy? What really has that gotten you in life?
Nowhere. Fast.
but setback. And like what you said. You said ego. You got to lose that. That's why I told one of my brothers. I said humiliation and humility. It's the same thing. You must be humiliated in order to be humbled. So at the end of the day, until you're willing to give up self, because true self-love is once you have given up yourself.
Woo!
That's true
Wait
self-love.
a minute. Pineapples.
And that's why if someone gets married they love each other, and their parents give their daughter away. A man gives away his single nature in order to gain something. To live in Christ and die is gain. Christ had to die in order to be rebirthed and lived again. So true self-love is when you have died to yourself.
That's good.
And once you've told yourself, listen, I'm no longer doing this. I'm no longer living for me. I'm living for God.
Ooh,
and once you do
good.
that, then that's when you really can exhibit self-love.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, I ain't never heard it like that now.
But this all self-reflection, just reflecting on self.
And we still on the topic, Tears of a Gangster. Like this is a real like I almost said something. I almost said something. Lord, hold my mule. I almost had a slip of the tongue. Y'all forgive me. But you talking to someone that has lived that life for real, a real gangster. Don't let the pretty face fool you.
Ain't nothing pretty about my face, man. Ain't nothing pretty about my face.
Don't let the pretty face fool you now. Don't let the let me not say the wrong word. The upper brown skin.
Upper brown, you're right. Upper brown.
My bad, y'all. It's the insider. Y'all, you had to be there. You had to be there. Don't let the way he looked. This man was that guy. that when it was time to get it in, that's the one you wanted to call. Okay. When you wanted something handled, you wanted to get at somebody. If you can read between these lines, those of you who understand the lingo, he the one you wanted to call, and he's being vulnerable with you tonight. He's expressing with no filter, not just stuff that he's learned, but stuff that he's experienced. To give you a hope, to give you some tools, to give you something that you can leave with here tonight to go apply so that you can move forward and become free, man. This is Freedom Friday after all.
Yeah.
It's not a cliche. I don't say Freedom Friday for nothing. No. We come to have the conversations that's going to give you your free. Okay? We come to have the conversations that are going to impact your life for the rest of your life. If you take heed and apply what's being said. Don't take what we're saying lightly, especially what he's saying to you men. To you hood ninjas. I can say ninja.
Yeah, I can say ninja. Yeah, you can say
I can say ninja. To you hood ninjas that are watching me. By chance. It's not by chance that you sign on to this podcast tonight. This is a divine appointment for you, because you might be in a place right now where you are so hopeless. And it's so dark for you right now that you cannot see your way out. You got a brother that even me, even though it's not about me, and it's not about the ladies tonight, but even me, I'm telling you, I've been in the trenches. I lived there.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't just pass through. I lived in the trenches, okay?
Yeah.
And we are literally telling you that there is still hope.
That's right.
And that it's okay. Even you, the hardest ninja on the block.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to not be okay.
Right.
Gangsters need love too.
Yeah.
Gangsters need love too. I want to see this comment real quickly. Oh yeah, someone say they bigging you up on what you just said.
Oh, that's what's up.
They bigging you, Esther Jones. Yeah,
But you know what? Even though I was the hardest and person and all this and all that, I was really scared.
Come on.
I was really scared, man. It's like, that's just really what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's fear. You know, that's why God says he hasn't given you a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind.
Yes.
And some people don't know what sound mind is. When you read in other interpretation, it says clear judgment.
Help us tonight.
Because when you're afraid, you don't have clear judgment.
No.
It's clouded. It's jaded. So the decisions you're making decisions based upon things that's imaginary. So you're making decisions based upon things that aren't there because you're afraid.
Emotions, right. Ideas.
So now I'm walking through a crowd of people, and I'm thinking this ninja over here trying me, looking at me crazy. So now I got my mug on. Now I got my face twisted up. Now, but in reality, man, he could be going through something himself. I don't know. So this is what fear creates. It creates a false sense of anxiety. And now you start responding and acting that way. And now you, in something that wasn't there initially, you end up inviting into your life. Because your face twisted up.
That's good.
Because you were afraid, now you invited that fear, that anger, that resentment, that regret. Wow. Because you're afraid. You dating somebody who you know is no good for you. But because you're afraid to be alone,
come on,
you invited that. It's going back to self-abuse. Because everything that happens to you, 9 times out of 10 is self-inflicted.
And here's the thing. Let's go even deeper with this.
Yeah.
Because even in the situation that you're talking about, as far as you seeing somebody and they giving you a look, your initial reaction is to mean mug, even though your exterior is presented as like a beast or like someone that's getting ready to, get in the paint or something like that. The underlying feeling is fear. But where did that fear come from? 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna let you chime in on this. 9 times out of 10, when a person automatically responds in fear and anxiety, it's because of past trauma. Unresolved past trauma. And when you have unresolved trauma, it speaks for you. It responds for you. It thinks I don't care how old you get. If you never take the time out to get that part of your life healed, whatever it is, as you get older, it grows with you. Not only does it grow with you, it gets worse. Why? Because it then becomes compiled with every other trauma that you have thereafter. So your traumatic experience just grows and grows and grows. So a person could literally just be looking at you, admiring you. But because you have a trauma response. When I slow down on certain words, y'all, I want y'all to write these words down and go look them up for yourself. Okay? When you have trauma or unresolved trauma, you automatically have trauma responses. In this case, I'm used to fighting, right? I done got jumped before, right? I done had weapons pulled out on me. I done had a weapon in my mouth. So whenever I see or sense aggression or what I perceive to be aggression, instantly I become anxious or scared. And my trauma response to fear so that I don't appear to be a punk. Yeah, it's finna go down. I could be scared to hell. You hear what I'm saying to you? I don't give a... Listen, you gon' get up off of me one way or another. I promise you is. Because underneath, it's the fear. But the fear, depending on the person, will cause them to either fight, flight, or freeze. And there's one more that I'm missing that I cannot remember. Fight, flight, or freeze. And usually a person that has been in violent or has had violent backgrounds, their response is going to be to fight. Instantly. It ain't even got to be nothing wrong. It ain't even got to be nothing going on. If you give me the wrong vibe, it's time to fight. Point blank and period. Go ahead and chime in, bro.
No, it's you're right. I mean, it's just like when you got dogs, man. The dogs get to barking. It's because they sense danger.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you know, uh, the trauma is so. People don't understand that your brain is like a computer. Like
Absolutely.
IG, like Instagram, Facebook, you post a story, it leaves, but it never leaves the system. It's still there somewhere. So when you're going through trauma, and that's why Christ says you must be born again. Because in order to be born again, you if you're born again, you won't mentally relive the things because those things have been gone, they're dead. So that's why you must be born again, like every day. And the scriptures say renew your mind every day, because the brain and the nerves in your system, the blood, the tears, everything is a computer. We're walking computers. That's why we talk about artificial intelligence. I had a young lady ask me. I said, a lot of people out here are AIs. They're artificial intelligence. She was like, what do you mean? She said, am I an AI?
Wow.
And I was like, yeah. You're artificial. We're all pretty much artificial intelligence, because everything we've learned, everything that we downloaded was programmed to us. So at the end of the day, what people don't understand is that when you're doing things, you have to understand that the trauma you have endured is downloaded somewhere in you. And that's what creates that nerve trigger. It's not even the fact that you might want to do, you might not want to slap somebody, you might want to punch somebody, but your nerves are tied in to your emotions. Your emotions are tied into your nerves, so that's what causes you to react.
Yes, absolutely.
So, like me, when I feel fear, I get a high level of anxiety.
Yes.
I get a high level. The level of anxiety I feel is so high, to the point where sometimes I start shaking.
Yes. I was just about to ask you, tell us what that feels like so they can identify it for themselves.
That level of anxiety is when your brain starts to, when your mind starts to think of things that's no longer natural. That's what I mean by artificial intelligence. Your mind starts thinking about things that's unnatural. You could be feeling just fine right now, but then all of a sudden, you spazzing out mentally. Somebody you start seeing yourself doing all kind of unnatural things.
Right.
You're right. You start seeing yourself doing a series of unnatural things, and you're seeing the steps from A to Z. This is when you know that you have been artificially programmed, because you know that this is not me.
Come on.
The way I'm thinking and feeling is not me. So what inside of you, what is in your DNA, what is inside of your program, your computer, that's causing you to react this way?
Wow.
It's like a glitch. It's like a glitch, like when you're playing a video game and it has a glitch. At that certain stage, something always happens. Or you watching TV and at a certain time, the TV frees up. Or you're on your cell phone. Every time you get in this location, the bars drop. It's a glitch in the system. We have to figure out where is our glitches in our own minds. Mm-hmm. What causes that glitch? What causes us to tweak? What causes us to spaz? Because that glitch has to be repaired. Because little do you know, that glitch could cause you to lose everything you've been working for.
Yes, sir. Your life, your freedom, everything.
Everything. That one glitch. There's been times where I played a video game, and every time I got to this point, the glitch happened. So I had to take the game back to the store. I said, man, listen, this game is defective. They were like, nah, are you sure? I said, every time I get to this point, the game stops. So They was like, you can't just play through it. I said, no, because every time I get to this point, I got to start the stage all over again. Because of that glitch. It don't let me save. It don't make me save it. You know what I'm saying? So people don't understand that glitch in your life, that glitch in our lives, is the reason why we have to keep starting over and over
again.
And over. Because when
That's
we reach...
so good.
So before we start, we have to first find out what that glitch is. Once we fix that glitch, then we'll be able to go through smooth. Yeah.
Ooh, that was good. That was good. That was good, yeah. Deborah. That was good, Deborah.
That's real. That's life.
That was
real
good.
Life. That's real life.
Okay, so we got to go just a little deeper. Just a little. What past experience has traumatized you the most?
Past experience traumatized me the most. Man,
take your time.
I think when all the dreams and goals I had didn't happen. I'm gonna be honest with you, like just that traumatized me till this day. I remember a lady. Give me 1 second. Let me get my phone charged.
Yeah. While he's doing that, y'all, make sure y'all tag some people in this room. Has this been good to you? Has it been good to you so far, y'all? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if Scar is giving you some jewels tonight. Because I don't know about y'all. He sure giving me some. Especially that whole thing about the glitch and the starting over. Listen, that is, that was so good. That was so good. That was so good.
Nah, but when I realized that things that I was working for didn't happen for me, I met this lady in church, and she was supposed to be like a mother to me, because at that time I was going through things with my mother. And she told me to go to this school. God told me to go to this school, and I ended up going to a school that basically everything I worked for, I ended up losing everything I worked for, making this decision. And at that point, till this day, it traumatized me, because I'm thinking about, man, that one decision I made listening to
somebody else
traumatized, basically the reason why my life was so hard. Like a lot of times people like to pinpoint abuse and all. Yeah, I was abused. Yeah, I was misused. But my real trauma came from me being misled.
Ooh.
And manipulated.
Ooh. Listen, and I feel like on so many different levels that is true for a lot of us. Like, we could throw hands all day, but when somebody breaks you inside, that's a whole nother kind of trauma, because the bruises, the cuts, the nicks, the gashes, all that stuff, it'll wear off. But that stuff that happens internally, if it's not properly dealt with, it sit right there and it festers. Y'all hear me? It sits right there and it festers. And it festers. And it festers. Oh, yeah. And then you wonder why you are going through so many different things in life and nothing seems to be going right, because it's called a karmic wound. It's called, I want somebody to write that in the chat for me, please. Please, 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 please. Type in the chat, karmic wound. As a matter of fact, yes, type in the chat. If somebody could please do me that favor, type in the chat, karmic wound. Why is this so important? Karmic wounds are important because if something happens to you that breaks you within and it's never dealt with, it becomes an emotional wound. It's a wound that you can't physically see, but you can feel it. And it's evident, okay? You just can't physically see it. What happens is over time, if that wound, is not dealt with properly, it grows and I literally just said it grows and gets worse, it gets bigger, and it speaks for you. It's just like for you church folks, I got to throw some stuff in for the church folks. That scripture that says, when a root of bitterness settles in, it defiles many. And to defile something means that, for something to be defiled, it's not what goes in it, but what comes out of it. But the root of bitterness that comes in is what defiles many, meaning when you let unresolved trauma settle and develop a karmic wound, that is the energy that is coming out. And anybody knows energy acts like a magnet. Whatever you got going on inside you, that's what you're going to exude. That's what you're going to push out. And then once you push that out, that's what you're going to pull back in. So a lot of the stuff we keep attributing to, it's the devil. Or the devil this, the devil that. But really and truly, it's because of the stuff that's going on the inside of us that was never handled. It's attracting more of the same energy. Literally. Karmic wounds. Thank you. Somebody put it in the chat for me. Thank you very much. Karmic wounds. It's very, very, very important that we understand these terminologies. Why? Because when you shed light in the darkness, it is no longer dark. And if you know, like I know, the enemy hides in plain sight.
Oh, yeah.
He will use the things that you have no idea are affecting you in order to affect you. Listen, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me ask you a question. That experience that you had, right?
Right.
How did it impact you then?
At the time, it made me lose my love for God. I felt like God wasn't real. I felt like God did not exist. I felt like God didn't love me. I felt like, you know what, God, I did all this for you, and I'm trying to do the right thing, and I got the wrong thing.
Wow.
I felt angry. I felt betrayed. I felt all kind of things. And it patterned me to just be used to disappointment and setback.
Ooh.
It patterned me to be accustomed to setback and disappointment.
Yes.
Before
like
then,
you brace for impact.
Right. Before then, you couldn't tell me the things, my goals, I couldn't achieve it. You couldn't tell me that before then. But after that, it just was a pattern that I felt in my mind that if something don't work, I'm used to it.
It's normal.
It's normal. It's my normalities change. That's what I said. I was no longer natural. I was artificial intelligence because my natural mindset was fight through everything. When I got hurt in high school, I played high school football. I got injured my spinal cord and my neck in 10th grade. So basically, I had to rehab myself for all 11th grade year to come back and play 12th grade just to go get a scholarship to play football in college. What you couldn't tell me from even in high school, I was around big record labels and I was doing my thing. So you couldn't tell me that. There's no way you could tell me that I wasn't going to be XYZ.
Right.
Because I put the work in to do that. You couldn't tell me I couldn't be. So when it didn't happen, it showed me, man, I'm going to just be accustomed to disappointment. And that's why I say generational curses of oppression and depression. See, oppression, people don't understand about depression and oppression. It all stems from pressure.
Woo!
Pressure creates oppression, depression. Therefore, it gives an impression, and therefore you give an expression.
Woo!
And these are these
Wait, pineapples, they wasn't ready. They wasn't ready. Wait a minute. Okay, wait. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, these are these words. That's what it is. Pressure is a mud. So when I realized that I was fighting the generational curse of oppression and depression, then my impressions changed. And everything all my impressions were disappointment, failure, lack, deceit, manipulation. Everybody out to get me. Nothing gonna go the right way. Now my expression is showing retaliation before anybody. It's just everything. I'm retaliating to everything. It's retaliation. Even if somebody made a mistake, it's retaliation because you out to get me. Because my impressions changed on people. I first thought people was out to help me and love me, and there's nothing I couldn't do. But then after my dreams and stuff failed, man, it was like I was at a breaking point, and that would cause me to do a lot of activities that weren't natural to me. I always told myself I wasn't going to deal with drugs. I always told myself I wasn't going to mess with a lot of women. I wanted to get married and have kids. I always told myself I wasn't going to live a criminal lifestyle. I always told myself I didn't want to do these things. But because that trauma happened to me, I was programmed artificially. So what was natural to me no longer was.
Wow. What was natural to you no longer was. What was natural to you no longer was. Yeah. You know what's so funny that you said it? Because there's something called internal dialogue, right? Mm-hmm. Then the internal dialogue is just what it sounds like. It's a conversation that takes place in your mind.
Right.
And it comes from the genesis of your identity, or like the beginning of your identity. In this case, it's like the fact that something went terribly wrong at a pivotal moment in your life.
Right.
It created a narrative for you in your mind, a storyline for you in your mind that everything is going to go wrong.
Right.
That's the internal dialogue. And listen, y'all, internal dialogues do not stop.
Oh,
they
yeah.
go. We had this conversation not too long ago.
Mm.
They go and go and go and go. When you sleeping, it's there. When you up, it's there. When you're moving, it's there. When you're not, right now, y'all internal dialogue is going as we speak, whether it's good, whether it's bad. The conversation, you can hear it. Pay attention. Make the distinction right now as we're talking to you. You can hear something talking, something saying something. That is your internal dialogue. And it's that conversation that shapes your entire life. Especially when it's unchecked. Because for some reason, the mind has a tendency to hold on to the negative stuff more than the positive. You ever notice that?
Oh, yeah.
You ever notice that? Internal dialogue. So if you have the internal dialogue that I'm never good enough, or nothing's ever going to go right, or I can never do anything right, if that's your internal dialogue, the conversation that's going over, every time you're presented with an opportunity that can change your life, you will forfeit. That's how the enemy hides in plain sight. Listen to me, Linda. That's how the enemy hides in plain sight, because you don't realize that your internal dialogue is making choices for you, but it is. So you have a whole situation in front of you that can really like push you and catapult you into new levels, realms, whatever. Plateaus, mountains, hills, whatever. But the enemy will sneak right on into that internal dialogue and strike fear and say, remember, everything always goes wrong. So you won't even apply yourself. You won't even take the first step. You won't make the phone call. You won't approach the person. You won't network. You won't knock on the door. You won't apply for the job. Who am I talking to? You won't start the business. You won't start the book. You just won't. You come to a standstill. And then the more you do it, the more you're going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
The more you do it, the more you're going to do it until you live your life in a caged box. Where? In your mind. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. That's how real it is. Like we at our upper brown and lower brown, our peoples, we have a tendency to just, okay, it is what it is. We never dive into the why. We never ask questions. We just are who we are, and that's it. But the way you are, not to speak to you in a condescending kind of way, but the way you are, where has it gotten you? We back to the same question.
Right.
Are you really happy for real? Where you are? Probably not. Not if you're miserable inside. I don't care how much money you've attained, status, notoriety, property, materialistic thing. I don't care. You could be riding in a Tesla, a Bugatti. I don't care what it is. Are you really happy inside? Probably not. Probably not, because the internal dialogue is unchecked. We don't even know this stuff is happening. For real. We don't even know this stuff is happening for real. But it's happening. And we wondering why we catching all kind of hell, having all kind of crazy experiences, sometimes having the same experiences with different faces.
Oh, yeah.
You can chime in whenever you're ready, bro.
Yeah, I mean, go back to that glitch.
Yeah.
It goes back to that glitch. You wonder why everybody you date is like end up being the same way. Everybody you do business with is that glitch. Is that feeling, man? That feeling that you get when stuff starts going haywire, stuff starts going left, and you start remembering what happened before.
Yes.
And you end up creating something new into something old. That's why the scriptures say, don't put new wine in the old wineskins.
Old wineskins. Because it'll bust.
It'll bust. So now you in a situation, now it seems familiar to you. So you start to take old emotions, putting it into new situations, and now you end up exploding.
Wow.
And now you end up breaking your relationships down, and you it didn't have to go that way, but you so used to, at this turn, you so used to bending a corner like this, you bend it like this all the time. Not knowing, you just ease up off that steering wheel, and maybe you can get back straight.
Right. Right.
So I learned, like for me, I just learned like you really have to reprogram your mind, renew your mind. That is why like a lot of people see me doing stuff. I do so much stuff, music. I'm doing this movie, I'm doing Baller Boys, I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff I'm doing. But they don't understand the discouragement that I feel every day. People don't understand when I wake up in my mind, I'm like, bruh, why you even trying this? Like inner dialogue. Why you even doing it? You know it ain't going. Or these people, man, you know these things. Bruh, just go ahead and load up, man. And so many things go in my mind. So much discouragement, disappointment because of, again, that glitch. Now I understand now that when I get to that point, I got a choice. So I told myself now the only time I lay down is when I'm going to sleep. Back then I used to lay down when things start going left. Now I learned to grab that steering wheel and maybe if I turn it right a little bit, it can get back straight. So basically don't throw everything away just because it seems like it's going the way it used to go. Because all it takes for you to do is make one simple change. And that can straighten the whole thing out.
Why are you in my business?
Because I have to be.
Who told you to be in my business?
And that's just how we are. We always like that. Me and you always vibe like that. So, that's something I learned. I learned like yesterday I'm driving a car and it started veering to the left. And the first thing came to my mind was, man, you got to take this car to the mechanic. You got to do this. But as I started driving, I kept driving. I said, man, listen, I kept driving this car anyway. I'm driving. Let me get to where I need to go. All of a sudden, the car wasn't pulling no more. So guess what? It was the road. The road was defective. That was causing the car to drift. The road, not the car itself. But how many times as human beings do we see stuff start not going the right way and we think it's us? So now we start, even like the self thing, we start looking into ourselves, looking at ourselves, but it wasn't us.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, you have sometimes too, you have to take a step back. And when you instead of looking in the mirror, sometimes you need to look out the window.
Ooh.
And see what your surroundings are, your circumstances are. It's not always your fault. So I had to understand that it's not always my fault. And I had to stop blaming myself for everything. So when I started to see things going left or right, I had to learn. I got control of the wheel. So basically for me, it's just reprogramming our minds so we can think different. And when we start thinking different, then we can live different. And that discouragement is a mud, man. A lot of people deal with that every day. I deal with it. Listen, I've had to shut down businesses. I've even had friends that I show love and care to, and just because they disagree with me, they gonna tear me down, not knowing what I'm feeling inside.
Right.
So I'm here. That's why I'm here today, talking to everybody to let you know, like, stop being. I'm gonna tell you this: stop being so hard on yourself. For one, and for two, instead of always looking inside yourself, sometimes look outside yourself. Stop doing the same things you've been doing because you're going to get the same results. If every time it bends left, sometimes it ain't you. Sometimes it's them. Sometimes it is you. Sometimes it's not them. So at the end of the day, you have to make a choice in yourself what kind of life you want to live. Stop giving those people, that circumstance, that situation. Stop giving people that thought. Stop giving things outside of you the authority of things inside of you.
Wow.
And
say that again, please. Say that again.
Stop giving things outside of you the authority of things inside of you.
Wow.
Once you've done that, once we have learned how to do that, then we can break through every situation that we encounter. When we meet that glitch that we talked about earlier, we'll still be able to get through that. But until then, we're going to be constantly, we're going to stop at that point every single time. Every time you sense disappointment, every time you sense danger, you're going to stop. Because you're thinking about the outcome that happened to you 10 years ago when you was in danger. Sometimes you got to keep going, and sometimes you got to stop doubting yourself. And if you really love God and you really have faith in God, you have to have faith with God in that situation.
Wow.
So that's what scripture say, renew your mind. We have to really reprogram. And you have to. So end of the day, I just want people to know, like, seriously, man, like, you really have to stop allowing these things to affect you so much that you're willing to lose everything. I told one of my partners, I say, all for nothing, that's a heck of a trade.
Listen. For real.
Giving your all for nothing in return is a heck of a trade. So I'm going to allow somebody outside of me to take my joy, my peace, my love, my will to work, my drive, and my ambition. I'm going to let all these things outside of me strip me of everything inside in exchange for what? In exchange for what? Fear? Betrayal? I'm going to give my joy away in exchange for hate. I'm going to give my love away in exchange for disappointment. I'm going to give my happiness away in exchange for discouragement. Us as a people really got to sit back and look at this. Like, I'm going to trade. It's like me going to a car lot, because I'm a car guy, going to a car lot and trading in a $100,000 car in exchange for a $2,000 car. That won't get me down the street.
Wow. That won't even get me down the street. Spend all that money and it won't even get you down the street. Jesus.
So we got to be careful. We have to really value these things inside of us and stop allowing the things outside of us to dictate the value of things inside of us. Mm-hmm. There was, when I first started selling cars, I used to let people tell me how much they want to pay. But when I got more knowledgeable of the value of the car, I started putting a price on it, and I'm not going to bend that price.
Right.
And if I negotiate the price, I already factored in the value of my car.
Right.
Some of us in life, we don't value the love and the peace. We don't value our peace of mind. We don't value our clarity. We don't value our sleep. Right. We don't value our sleep. We don't value our smiles. We don't value our tears. So we just so willing to give it away for nothing. Can't do that.
Wow. Woo! Well, we finna wrap it up. I got one more, just one more. I promise you, that's it. I ain't gonna bother you no more.
Okay, for sure.
So, if you could tell your 18-year-old self something, what would it be?
If I could tell my 18-year-old self something, what would it be? I would tell my 18-year-old self that I am worth it. I'm worthy of God's love. I'm worthy to be loved. I'm worthy to be accepted, appreciated. I'm worthy. And being that I'm worthy, that I'm worth every bit of love, every bit of peace, every bit of the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, meekness, faith, and self-control. I'm worth every bit of that. And I shouldn't let nobody, nor myself, give me anything less than what I'm worthy of.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell myself.
Woo! Well, you guys, that sums it up for tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but this was enriching, man. Like, Tears of a Gangster, this is probably hands down one of my favorite because it's very rare that you can find a man with such a strong demeanor just be open and really share his vulnerability. I pray to God that y'all got something out of this podcast tonight, especially the men. To you men that are watching now or are catching the playback, I pray to God that y'all have gotten something out of this podcast. I pray to God that you've gotten healed, impacted, something. Even if you gotta, when we sign off, go and catch the playback again, then do so, man. There's so many jewels that were dropped tonight, y'all. Like, I myself need to go back and just kind of take some notes for real. This was amazing. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. You're the best podcast in America and South America. So
your boy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Freedom Friday. I feel free already. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go to a restaurant now and ask them to give me something free because I feel free. So give me what I'm worth. Give me what I feel free. I'm worthy of something free.
Yeah, you feel me? I might do the same thing.
Yeah, it's good.
Put us out the back door.
That's
but
right.
Please, before what'd you say?
No, that's right. That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Before we log off, please let them know where they can find you, how they can link up with you, where they can find your music. We didn't even really get a touch on that, y'all, because this was on another level. But listen, his music, y'all have to follow him on. I think on Facebook is Moses Tefilah Selahssie, right? Yeah. Okay, so y'all have to follow him on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. However you are watching this podcast, bro, his music is I'm gonna yank your chain a little bit, sir. It's unmatched. I'm gonna be real. There ain't too many of them out here doing it like that. And I'm not just saying it because that's my bruh. Like, I'm saying it because if you listen. Y'all ain't ready.
Yeah,
I promise y'all ain't ready.
I appreciate it.
Y'all ain't ready. So please tell us tell them where they can find you, what your social handles are, where they can find your music, if they want to link up with you in network, how they can get to you.
Well, yeah, my Facebook, like she says, Moses Tefilah Selahssie. You know, Moses Tefilah Selahssie with the H in it. My Instagram is Scar Selahssie. That's ScarSelahssie. My TikTok is Scar Go Hard. You go on YouTube, Yahweh Studios. Check out the music. The music is something I love to do, but the message is something that I really wanted to give out, and it's therapy. So when you listening to these songs, you know, you really just getting therapy lessons. You know what I'm saying? So it's more than just music for me. You know what I'm saying? It's therapies for those who I can't speak to, but can listen to it, and maybe it could help change it, even if it change your mood. You know, even if it change your mindset, even if it change the way you see something. That's the whole purpose of me dropping music. So, you know, I appreciate whatever love y'all can give me. I really appreciate this podcast. It really helped me to really see.
We appreciate you, bruh. You already know what the beat is.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, man. Make sure y'all have me again, man. Make sure y'all have me before the year is out. You know.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Okay, you guys. So you know what we got to do, and I would appreciate if you can help me with this part. I almost called you by your government name. Scar. Yeah, don't do that. Pray for me.
You did it already before, so.
I know. I ain't mean to.
We're going to pray over your mind. Clarity, Lord. Clarity.
In the name.
In the name. Above all names.
But this is the part where we give you the opportunity to come into the family of God, y'all. And if I could tell you something, if you one of those who are outcasted and feel like the black sheep and nobody don't love you, nobody don't want to be around you, this is the family that you want to be a part of. You want to have a God like our God, okay? And I'm not just saying it to say it, but I'm saying it because I've experienced it. When I was written off by everybody, the only person I could turn to was God. And the gateway to God is who? Jesus Christ. I don't know how you say it. How do you say it? Yeshua. Yeshua.
Yeah.
Yeshua. Amen. What he said. I be pronouncing stuff all wrong, but listen, y'all, the gateway is the Lord.
Oh yeah.
Simple. He is the Lord. And if you want to experience the kind of love that we've been talking about, if you want to even access the information, the knowledge, the wisdom, because that's all this stuff is, believe it or not, it's just wisdom. Oh, yeah. But if you want to obtain it for yourself, this is the gateway, y'all. If you want love unconditionally, unshakable, unmovable, this is the gateway. So if you could, as I'm saying, would you help me repeat the prayer just in case someone is, apprehensive and a little,
That's fine. I'm ready.
And not to mention, y'all, we on Facebook, we on Instagram, we on YouTube, wherever we at. So can't nobody see you for real.
Let's do it.
Okay? So repeat after me. Lord Jesus.
Lord Jesus.
I believe in my heart.
I believe in my heart.
I confess with my mouth.
I confess with my mouth.
That you are my Lord.
That you are my Lord.
And my Savior.
And my Savior.
I am now.
In
the family of God.
In the family of God.
I receive you. In my heart. As my Savior. Amen.
Amen. Shalom. Yes.
Shalom. I like that. Shalom. And if you said that prayer, you are now in God's family. So welcome.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes.
It's that simple. Like, sometimes we just over spiritualize stuff, but I'm not going to go there tonight. Tonight is a good night. Yeah. So what do you do next? You praying for me, right? You praying for me. Okay. What do you do next? What do you do next? You just keep walking.
Yes.
You're not going to be perfect. Everything is not going to change in 1 second. A lot of the stuff that we go through, it was a process to get in. It's going to be a process to come out. Okay?
Right.
Trust me what I'm telling you. Don't feel like you got to fix everything right away. Listen, just walk. Just keep walking. Change the posture of your heart and put it towards God. Seek him first in everything. Everything. I don't care if it's the smallest thing. Seek him first. Okay? If you still, do the church thing and it's okay, please find you a church home that's going to build you up and not tear you down. That's going to love you and not hate you. That's going to tell you the truth and not feed you lies.
Oh, yeah.
Please, y'all. Whatever you do, use discernment. Use discernment because quite frankly, there's a lot of people out here in the world that have... Amen. I'm not going to go there tonight, God. I said I was going to keep it cute. So that's what I'm going to do.
Please.
But before we go, I have got to play my song one more time as we exit off this podcast. Hey. This song is called Hard Times, y'all. If y'all go where I access it from, is his Facebook page. If y'all go on his Facebook page, you can see it. He has a lot of different videos. He has so much. There's so much content. Inspirational messages, different reels, different videos, just listen, just follow him and you will get a heart full, okay? And please, y'all, don't forget, no matter what anybody says about you or anybody thinks about you, you just keep shining. I love y'all. Have a good night.